My dear students, I welcome all of you for today's session on design and analysis of algorithms. In this session, let me have a discussion about the fundamental data structures. The data structures itself is a vast topic, okay? And its data structure is also a prerequisite subject for the study of design and analysis of algorithms. I mean, in the first session, I said few prerequisites in order to study design and analysis of algorithms. They are any basic programming language, say a Pascal or a C. Got it? So then I said discrete mathematical structures. I said graph theory. These are some prerequisites. And apart from these prerequisites, okay, even data structure is a prerequisite. Okay, you need to be thorough with any basic programming language, data structures, discrete mathematical structures, and graph theory. Got it? This acts as base for you to become familiar with design and analysis of algorithms. Okay, so I said data structures itself is a vast. So what I'll do, just like a refresher course, I'll introduce, let me recover, okay, let me review the data structures, some data structures, okay, almost all data structure, and a brief introduction, because it's a prerequisite. You have already studied data structures. So in this and the next session, okay, I'm going to give you an explanation of some data structures. Okay, so in this session, we will have a discussion about linear data structures, and in the next session, we will have discussion about non-linear data structures. Okay, clear with this? So now coming to agenda of this session. So in this session, we are going to study about linear data structures. I said, clear? So when I say linear data structures, got it? You have already, you might thinking already you studied, right, in previous semester. Array is one of the linear data structure. You're clear with that. Linked list is a linear data structure. You remember. Got it. And just there are some more linear data structures: stack, queue, priority, queue. Got it. So this just categorized as abstract data structure list, because stack, queue, and priority queue are user defined data structures. Okay, user defined data structures. We'll see. So let me tell you, suppose if you have forgotten, okay, so what linear data structure means? Okay, linear data structure means the data items will be stored in continuous memory locations. Got it? So in a linear fashion, data are not stored randomly. One data in some memory location, the other data in the far from that. It's not that. Okay. So linear data structure means organizing data in a continuous memory locations. Got it? So the basic linear data structure is an array. Then we'll see linked list. Okay. Then we'll see stack, queues, priority. So coming to array. So array you studied in your first semester itself, right? While you studied the C programming language. So just now what I said, linear data structure means organizing data in continuous memory locations. Got it? So now let me tell you definition, then I'll explain you. So array in general one-dimensional array. Got it? It's a sequence of n items, sequence of n data items, and conditions that all those n data items should be of the same data type. I mean, all n data items should be of type only int, or should be of type only float, or should be of type only character, or should be of type only string. Got it? So we are not going, means here in this collection, I am not considering data items of different data types. All data items should be of same type. Okay. And those data items are stored continuously in computer memory, as you can see in that figure. Okay, stored continuously in computer memory and made accessible by specifying a value of the array's index. Now I think you're clear with array. So what array in general? Collection of n data items, and all n data items should be of same data type. And this n data items are stored continuously in computer memory. Got it? So, and these data items we can access using an index. Clear? We call an array index. Now, let me tell you, what about, is there any constraint on index? Got it? So, few programmers, what they will choose, the start of an array to be at index 0, means for first element of an array to be at index 0, which implies the last element, that is nth element of an array, will be at index n-1. I mean, few programmers choose indices starting from 0, ending at n-1. Got it? Whereas some programmers will choose indices starting from 1 and the last index to be n. It doesn't matter. Got it? So now we are, this is just a figure represents a pictorial figure represents a one-dimensional array. So the first element, okay, is at index 0. Second element is at index 1. So last element, nth element should be at index n-. Got it? Now, coming to advantages of an array. Coming to advantages of an array, okay. So in the next slides, okay, next after 2 or 3 slides, I'm going to discuss about linked list. Okay. There's some difference. Usually you will be asked in exam. Compare array and linked list. Compare array and linked list. The first advantage of an array, what I'm going to tell you now, it's a disadvantage of linked list. Means here it's an advantage, whereas in linked list it's a disadvantage. I tell you, don't get confused. Okay, let me pause linked list now. So I mean, each and every element of an array can be accessed in same constant amount of time. Now let me come back to previous slide. See here, suppose I want to access the nth element of an array, okay, nth element, that is the last element of an array, I can access with just a single instruction item of n-1. Clear? Just one operation, item of n-. Suppose if I want to access second element of an array, just one operation, item of 1. Sorry, for the last element, item of n-1. For the last element, to access the last element of an array, item of n-1. To access first element of an array, item of 0. To access second element of an array, item of 1. I means each element of an array can be accessed using just one operation. Got it? So means accessing each element, maybe the first or the last or the mid, takes same amount of time. Got it? So this is an advantage of an array. Each and every element of an array can be accessed in the same amount of time, regardless of where in the array the element is located. The other advantage is that, see what I said initially while defining array, all data items are of same data type. It implies all elements, all data items consume same amount of storage. Consumes same amount of storage. Clear with this? So now we'll proceed. So now what are the applications of an array? Okay, there are a vast number of applications. Among this, I will discuss you one application, that is on string. Because usually students will get confused with strings and arrays. Okay, means strings also resembles array. Strings also resembles array, but what actually difference between string and array? Okay, clear? So now let me tell you the difference. I'll tell you first. Let me see. So array is used to implement a variety of data structures. Okay, I said the stacks, queues, okay, priority queue, what I said initially at the start of the session. Even those data structures can be implemented using array. Means I can make use of array to implement stack, to implement queue, to implement priority queue. Okay, that we'll see later next in the subsequent slides. Okay, so now array is used to implement a string also. So what actual string? Okay, let me tell you. And looking at the slide, what I stated, a string is a sequence of characters from an alphabet terminated by a special character indicating the string's end. See here, look at the slide. So I've declared one variable with name str as an array, and it is initialized with some word geeks. And since it is enclosed within double quote, we call it's a string. You know, right? When I enclose within double quote, I'll call it as a string. So now str is an array of characters, collection of characters. See, listen. In simple, what I can call string, say for example, str is nothing but collection of characters within double quotes. Okay, so this is nothing but a string. So precise definition. Okay, to be more precise, what I call string is nothing but sequence of 0 or more characters terminated by a null character. I repeat, string is a sequence of 0 or more characters, okay, terminated by a null character. For example, let me tell you, while declaring a string variable str, I have just initialized it with word geeks within double quote. Okay, but just observe in memory how it will be stored. In memory, it will be stored as an array. In memory, it will be stored as an array. Clear? But observe that in the first memory location, there is a character G. In second and third, there is a character E. In the fourth, there is a character K. And in the fifth, that is at index 4, there's a character S. But immediately after this, I've shown something \0, right? This \0 indicates a special character that is null. Okay, \0 is a null character. I mean, while declaring and initializing a string, okay, constant. See, while declaring string variable and initializing it with some string constant, okay, I won't use a null character that is /0 while initializing, but while the string will be stored in memory location, automatically by default null character will be appended. Means null character will be stored in the memory location immediately following the last character of a string. Clear? So this is about string. Now what actually difference between string and array? See here, let me tell you the difference. String, when I say, okay, it's a collection of characters. Explicitly I'm saying it's a collection of characters. To be more precise, string is a collection of ASCII characters. Okay, I mean when I say array, it's a collection of data items. Okay, that data item can be of type character, can be of type integer, can be of type float, whatever it be. So in general, when I say array, I'll call it a collection of data items. Data items can be, all data items can be of any, or should be of same type, and that type can be either int, character, floating point, whatever it be. When I say string, it's an array. It's a collection. Array means it's a collection. Collection of what? Collection of only characters, ASCII characters. So now, don't get confused. When I say characters, means I should use only alphabets A to Z, uppercase A to Z or lowercase A to Z. We can use even a number, okay? In place of E, I could have specified number 1. In place of K, I could have specified number 9. But in that case, those 1 and 9 won't be treated as a number. It will be treated as a character. Got it? So I means each character is having an ASCII value, and that ASCII value will be stored in the corresponding memory location. Got it? So when I say string is a collection of what? Characters. To be more precise, ASCII characters. Got it? So this is about the difference between string and array. In general, array, collection of data items. String, collection of ASCII characters. Now coming to linked list. Linked list. First, let me go through the definition slide, okay? Then I'll justify you through some diagram. A linked list is a sequence of 0 or more elements called nodes. Means it's a collection of nodes. Collection of nodes. Each nodes contain 2 types of information. Okay, each node contains 2 types of information. One we call a data, means information part, data file, and the other we call, see here, each node contains 2 kinds of information. The first kind is a data, the other kind is a link, or we call pointer to other nodes. Okay, you will come to know through diagram. Got it? So what is a linked list? It's a sequence of 0 or more elements called nodes. Okay, each node contains 2 informations. One is data, and the other information is one or more links, what we call pointer. Okay, and like in string, what I said, at end there's a null character, right? There's a null character at end of the string. Similarly, in a linked list, for the last node, that link field, okay, for the last node, the link field is a null. Means to say, the last node, the link field is a null, means it is not pointing to any other node. Clear? So now let me explain through diagram. Okay, now there are coming to linked list, there are two types. Okay, singly linked list, doubly linked list. So before I tell singly linked list, okay, just look at the first figure. So in this, what I said, linked list is nothing but collection of nodes, right? So here I've shown some 3 nodes here. The first, second, and the last node. Okay, and each node, okay, just of each node has 2 parts. So in the first parts of each node, okay, what I said, something item 0, item 1, item n minus 1. They are the data part of the nodes. And now you observe there's an arrow pointing from second field of a node to the next node. There's an arrow, there's a link pointing from the second part of a node to the next node. This we call pointer. Got it? There's an arrow pointing from the second part of a node to the next node. Okay, this arrow we call a link or a pointer. Got it? So now single linked list means, okay, it's a one way. Means, see here, I can looking at that first figure, what you can say, you can traverse from first node to second node, then from second node to third node, then from third node to last node, but you can't traverse back from the last to the first. So this we call single linked list, means there's a link from one field to another field in the same direction. Got it? So traversing one way. Now we'll look at the next figure, doubly linked list. So I mean each node here will have 2 links. Got it? Means look at the figure. So in the mid section, I have specified item 0, item 1, item n minus 1. These are data part of the nodes. Okay, and in the extreme ends of the nodes, okay, extreme ends of each node, you see there are 2 lengths. One is an incoming length, the other is an outgoing length at the extreme ends. Okay, means at one extreme end there are 2 links. Okay, 2 links. One is the outgoing length points to the predecessor and the successor node. Got it? Means from the given node you can either traverse to predecessor node or you can either traverse to successor node. Got it? But it is not allowed in single linked list. Single linked list, you can traverse from a given node to the next node. You can't traverse to the previous node. Now, whereas here in double linked list, I can traverse from a node to its predecessor or to its successor. Got it? So this we call double linked list. And observe, I said now at the end, as there's a null character at the end of the string, the last node in a single linked list, in the link field, it's a null, means it is not pointing to any other node, it's end. Whereas here in double linked list, the first node, okay, for the first node there is no predecessor. The first node, there is no predecessor. So here the link field, the left link field is null. Similarly, For the last node in double linked list, there is no successor node. There's no successor node. So the right link field, of last node is null. Clear? The right link field of last node is null. Clear? So now coming to drawbacks of linked list. Okay. So now what is drawback of linked list? I said, right, when I stated advantage of an array, okay, linked list lacks that advantage. So what I said, in array, I can access any element, maybe the first or maybe the last or maybe the mid element of an array with just one operation, with just one access time. Means all elements of an array can be accessed with same amount of time. But look here, suppose, okay, I want to access the nth node. Suppose I want to access the nth node of a single linked list. Clear? To access nth node of a single linked list, I need to traverse from the first node through the second, third to last node. Got it? So to access information field of nth node, I need to traverse from first node to that node through all intermediate. So access time varies. Suppose if I want to access the information field of the first node, the access time is very less. If I want to access the information field of second node, I need to traverse from first node to the second. Then I can access information. Now, got it? So access time for information field of each node is different, varies in single linked list. Clear with this? Got it? So I mean to say, to access information field of first node, I need not have just access the first node. Suppose if I want to access the information field of the last node, I need to traverse from first node to this last node. So access time varies. See here, to access a particular node of a linked list, start with the list first node and traverse the pointer chain until the particular node is reached. So the time needed to access an element of a single linked list, the time needed to access an element, depends on where in the list the element is located. Got it? I want to access a particular element means the time depends on what? Where that element, in which node that element, in which node that element is present. Got it? Clear? This is, you will be asked an exam. Okay? Differentiate between array and linked list. Clear? This difference you need to know. Now, what about an advantage of linked list? Okay. So one thing I'll tell you, advantage of linked list, okay, when I compare to an array. See, in array, I need to reserve the memory first. I need to plan before, okay, in my array, how many elements might be there. For example, I may need at the most 100 elements, means 100 data items, means I need to reserve memory initially for this 100 data items in case of an array. But so because, for example, let me say in your C program you have seen some declaration like int a of 100. Clear? Means int a of 100 means a is an array. You are reserving 100 memory location initially. Got it? So whereas in linked list, no reservation of memory is required. No reservation of memory is required. Means whenever we need to create a new node, okay, whenever there's a need to create a new node, we are going to allocate memory for that node. Clear? So next, insertion and deletions can be made efficiently by reconnecting a few appropriate pointers. Remember this. In case of an array, I suppose in case of an array, let me come to my previous slide. Okay. See, in case of an array, this is an array, right? Suppose, see, I want to insert a new element at index 2. Okay, at time, let me say I want to insert an element at index 1, assume. So what happens? Now if I want to insert a new element at index 1, now I need to shift this element from which are already at indices 1 through indices n-1 towards right. I mean, I require to shift all the elements at indices 1 through n-1 towards right. So insertion is a bit time consuming. Similarly, let me say I need to delete an item which is at index 1. So if I delete an item at index 1, okay, I said arrays data should be stored in continuous memory location. Now, if I delete this item of 1, so that memory location got free. So now what I should do, I should shift all elements which are at indices 2 through n-1 to one position left. Okay. To one position left. So I mean, in case of an array, insertion or deletion requires shifting of elements either towards right or towards left. Well, this is not the case in case of linked list. So assume, let me say, I want to insert a new node at second position, okay? Immediately after the first node. What I need, just let me create one new node, okay? One new node, let me create a new node. And let me make the first node pointer to point to this new node. And the new nodes pointer to point to second node. Got it? Suppose if I want to insert a new node at second location, let me create this new node. Let me create this new node. Okay. Then let me make the pointer field of first node to point to new node. The pointer field of new node to point to second node. Got it? Clear? So now suppose if I want to delete any node, say second node I want to delete. So in that case, what second node if I delete, okay, what I'll do, I'll make the pointer field of first node to point to third node. That's it. Deleting a second node means I'm making pointer field of first node to point to third node. So the insertion and deletions in linked list are very easier. Got it? Clear? So now we'll come to abstract data structure list. Okay. And user defined data structures, we can perform insertion, deletion, searching. There are three types: stacks, queues, and priority. Hope you have learned these things in your previous semester. So what actually stack means? We call last in, first out. Means it's a linear data structure. Here I call insertion and deletion takes place at the same end. See, inserting an element we call push. Deleting an element we call pop. Now initially stack was empty. At the top end, I have inserted an element 1. Next, I have inserted element 2. Now it is the top. Next, I have inserted element 3. Now 3 is at the top. Means all element of being inserted from the top end. All elements of being inserted into stack at top end. Now I want to delete an element. I can delete an element only which is at the top end. In this case, 3. 3 is an element I can delete from the stack. I can pop from the stack. Got it? So the last element in this case inserted is 3, right? Last inserted is 3 and is the first to be deleted, right? So we call stack last in, first out. Clear? There's a linear data structure where insertion and deletion takes place at same end, known as top end. Last element inserted is the first to be deleted, so we call LIFO. Next, Q. Q is also a linear data structure, but here insertion takes place at one end, deletion takes place at other end. Inserting an element into a queue we call NQ. Deleting an element from a queue we call DQ. So just look here, like it's a queue. You are familiar with queue, right? You used to an ATM. You may need to stand in a queue. Okay, while you need to book a ticket. Okay, book a ticket in KSRTC. You may need to be in a queue. The one who is at the front of the queue will be issued ticket first, and he will move from the queue, right? I mean, the one person who is in the front of the queue will be first moved from the queue, and the new person who will arrive to the queue, where he joins, he will join at the back of the queue, right? The back of the queue, the new person will join. I mean, new person inserted into the queue at the back. That back we call in this context rear. Back of the queue in this context we call rear. And the first person of the queue who will get service first, he will be moved from the queue first. Got it? Clear? I mean, he will be removed from the queue. So insertion takes place into a queue at the back, right? That we call rear end. So deletion from the queue takes place at where? Front end. Got it? So queue is a linear data structure where insertion takes place at rear, deletion takes place at front. So clear? Just compare this with a simple queue line. Okay, got it? So next, there's something known as priority queue. Priority queue means, okay, here what I said in queue what I said, the first person will be deleted first. But in temples and all, okay, for darshan, God's darshan, okay, if there are any elder citizens will be there, they will be given priority. Then elder citizens need to be followed by some other. So priority queue means insertion takes place at rear end. Of course, insertion can take place as usual in queue, but deletion is based on priority.